Hey, this is Rachel from the Life Facilitator, and I'm sharing a memory keeping process video today. And I'm starting by showing you what I do when I am behind. And I am behind, and so I have batch printed a bunch of photos using the Canon Selfie printer, photo printer. And I've also used the PicFrame app to make my collages. Those collages are 2 by 3 in size, but to make them fit in my classic size Happy Planner, I simply use the Happy Planner classic size punch, and they fit really nicely, most of them. The ones that don't fit, I either leave as is or I will trim them in various ways to still either use them on my planner spreads or I'll use them in my on my monthly currently page. And so what I'm doing here is I'm showing you, I'm punching the photos, and then I'm placing them where I want them to go on the page. I will do this for several weeks of April because, as I mentioned, I'm behind. And so I will just go ahead and do all of the photos at once and then go back and actually memory plan one spread 1 week on this video. So this is a great way if you're behind. I think for many people, when you get behind on memory keeping, it's because of the photos. And so batch printing your photos and kind of getting them on the page, I think for me is sort of a kickstart to creativity when it comes to memory keeping. And you'll also notice that I have written in pencil just a little note to myself on the boxes where the photos end up going. And this helps me when I'm making those collages to know which photos I need to choose. And then also to get a sense of what the layout on the page is going to look like. And also typically when I'm behind, I tend to stick to a layout that feels sort of like an easy button for me. So I usually do a photo, an open, in the columns, a photo, an open section, and then a section for journaling. So that's usually my kind of easy button layout format. So some of these photos in this week are not going to be, won't fit in the boxes, and so that's okay. I'm just going to use them as is and then trim them down in a way that makes sense to me. So that one fits well, this one fits great, but then the next one is going to be too big and also not the right orientation. So I will end up putting that one over 2 boxes. And this one I don't think makes the cut, but I'll put it elsewhere in my memory planner. And so I'm going to trim this and leave it as the size as it is, and put it over Friday and Saturday. And then we have another photo that's going to be too, in order to get everything in the photo, it's too big for the box. And so, but I will end up trimming it down, just not to fit in, though it'll overlap with the Tuesday box just a little bit. Here I'm showing you that I have an insert that I will be adding, but I don't actually put this in the video, partly because I want this video to focus on the printables. And so if you want to see how that little insert turned out, you can head to my Instagram to see it. And so I have a couple more photos that are going to get that will get adhered down. And now to decorating. So I'm going to start with a card that was from the April Up and Away kit. I've cut it in half, and I'm going to put part of it on the top of the photo and the other part on the bottom. This is something that I've recently discovered about pocket cards, is that a pocket card fits really nicely over 2 of the columns. So I have been trying to incorporate more pocket cards in my classic size memory keeping. Here I am making choices about which elements I'm going to use, and I fast forwarded because nobody wants me to just pick through printables, but I'm picking mostly red and blue elements because the blog post is a red and blue theme. And so I picked all my red and blue, which was hard to decide because there was so much of it. And again, I am pulling specifically from the May Tulip Time printables for this plan with me. One, because I love them, but also because my kit and I are not in the same location. So I am currently in Iowa, and my kit is in Miami, where I live. And so we will cross paths again, but not this month. And so I am not letting that get me down, and instead I'm using the printables for my memory keeping and for my planning, and it's been working out great. I certainly miss the kit, and I have a lot of FOMO looking at all the other Cocoa Daisy users using their Tulip Time kit, but I am so grateful for these amazing printables that are available every month. And so for this layout, I use a lot of the subscriber printables, which have labels in them and arrows and some elements that work really well for memory keeping. And I take a long time to decide that top corner, and ultimately I will cover it. I actually will end up taking this entire section out, so if this makes you squeamish, my apology. No pages were damaged in that process. And I decide instead I'm just trying to cover that notes, really. That's all I'm trying to do. And I will eventually, yay, find something to cover it with. So this is just a scrap from one of the printables that I am adding. This little element that I'm about to adhere came from one of the pocket cards, the printable pocket cards. And if you saw my wellness tracker video, you'll see where the rest of that pocket card ended up. And I loved the florals in this month, and I particularly liked this one that was on one of the A5 planner pages, and so it will eventually have a home. It does take me a minute to find it. And I really liked this quote, "The choose what makes your heart bloom." And eventually this quote will end up horizontally over Tuesday and Wednesday. But it'll take me some time to figure that out. So you'll see that at the end of the video. One of the things I really liked about, or I got lucky with this week, was that there was already quite a bit of red and blue in the photos of this week. But if there hadn't been, one way to get around that is I could have just printed black and white. So if I wanted to keep with a color scheme and my photos didn't match, you can always just print your photos black and white, and that will fix that problem pretty nicely. So yep, just going to keep adding little elements, and I apologize in advance. This video is going to get cut off, so you will not see me place everything down, but I will show you an up close look at the final product in just a moment. So my apology, my camera shut off. I seem to always have video problems. One day I will get it right. And so I'm going to just add a little adhesive to these little corners. I didn't use sticker paper, and so I was needing a little bit more adhesive. So as I mentioned, camera got cut off, but here is a close-up of the final product or the final layout. I love how it turned out, and here's me showing that I recut the words to go horizontally. And I love that this all came together using the printables, which is really fun, and it was a really fun challenge for me, and I will definitely be doing this again. So I'm going to put the pages back in my Happy Planner, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!